Dinach, hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be making this lovely beef and potato or stew from Ethiopia. As I cook this, I'm going to try and explain some of the ingredients in Amharic. Amharic is the national language of Ethiopia. My Amharic is not very good, so any Ethiopians out there, please forgive me for my pronunciation, but I hope it does help some of you along the way. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. So we're going to get started with these ingredients. There's plenty more ingredients to come, but I'll show you those in a moment. So here I've got some beef. I've got beef with meat. I've got some bone in there as well. So nice cuts of beef, but there's also a few bones in there. A little bit of fat. There's 1 kg there. That's 2.2 pounds. I've got 3 cups here of onions that I've put into my food processor. You want them really nice and small. If you don't have a food processor, just chop away. 2 tablespoons of garlic, 1 cup of olive oil. So I'm going to try and tell you a few of these words in Amharic, which is the national language of Ethiopia. So Sega means meat, shinkut means onion, zait means oil, nech shinkut is garlic. Let's get moving with this, and then I'll show you some spices and herbs and that in a moment. So you're going to need a large pot like this that has a lid. The heat is on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start off by dropping in the onions. So no oil in there, just the onions go in, or the shinkut. Now this is very common with many types of wat. In fact, pretty much all wat. What we're going to do is we're going to dry the onions out first. So we're going to stay on a lively heat, and we're going to go for about 5 minutes. We want the moisture to leave the onions. So as you can see, the shinkut, or the onions, have actually changed color a little bit, and we've got rid of the moisture from them. Now, if I was making doro meaning chicken, doro being the national dish of Ethiopia, I wouldn't be putting 3 cups of onions in here. I'd be putting like 10. Like this would be full up of onion. You need loads of onion for that, but when you're making a beef or a sego you can reduce it down a little bit. Well, quite a lot actually. Right, we're now going to add 1 cup of olive oil, a couple of tablespoons of garlic, so garlic is nech shinkut, onions is shinkut, so garlic translates literally to white onion. We're now going to drop in our beef, or sega. There's 1 kg there, and like I say, there's some bones in there as well. I'm now going to add some salt. The word for salt in Amharic, I always get confused with goodbye, because there's chow and chow. So all Amharic speakers, please forgive my pronunciations. Okay, so we're on above medium heat. We're going to go to just below medium now, and we're going to go now for about 15 minutes. We want to really kind of slowly get this cooked. So while the beef is cooking away there, I just want to show you the main ingredient for any sort of wat. And when I say wat, kai wat, which means red wat, is berbere. Now, berbere is a mixture of spice. Lots of people think it's just chili. It's not at all. There's loads and loads of stuff going on in there. Now, what I suggest is you get it from Ethiopia. Like, don't buy a Jamie Oliver berbere powder. It'd be useless. If you can't find that, if you go to an Ethiopian restaurant, they'll sell you some. They're gonna get the real deal. This one, I'm really lucky, is from Addis Ababa. But not only is it from Addis Ababa, it's from my wife's mum. She actually makes this. So this is her version. Tons and tons of different spices and stuff in there, like tons and tons of it. I'll leave a list below in the text. But yeah, I've got 4 tablespoons of that. We're going to be adding that, and you have to really cook it. Once it goes in, you have to cook it and cook it and cook it. But yeah, there you go. That's our berbere powder. So one of the other key ingredients for lots and lots of Ethiopian food is Ethiopian spice butter, or KIBE, which is right there. Now, it's not just butter. There's plenty going on in there. Some of the key spices are right here. I'm just going to show you them here. This one here is Beso Bela. This one here is koseret. This one here is koromina. Koromina is imagine a black cardamom and then put it on steroids. It's a really big, kind of, you know, massive actually, black cardamom that's pretty much native to Ethiopia and East Africa. And these are the seeds that you get from it, and it has a real sort of eucalyptus type kind of vibe about it. So I'm actually going to get around, now I've got the ingredients. It's been a while since I've been able to get proper ingredients from Ethiopia. I'm going to actually make a video of KIBE. But yeah, a pretty essential thing in nearly all Ethiopian food. Here we've got something called MEKELESHA. MEKELESHA is a kind of finishing spice. So again, lots of different stuff in there. I'll leave a link for that. I've made that before. But yeah, you just put a little tiny amount of that, like a quarter of that would go in a wat or a stew or something like that at the end. So yeah, there's the KIBE. There's some of the ingredients for KIBE, and you can make it in different ways. That's MEKELESHA, which is sort of like a garam masala powder, you know, an Ethiopian style garam masala, just a little bit in at the end. Okay, let's get back to the pot. Fantastic stuff. We're now going to add the berbere powder. Going to put in about half now and just work it in. Now, what is really essential with this powder is it really needs to be cooked. It's not like chili powder or some other sort of thing where you just chuck it in and stir it in. This stuff needs to be cooked. Okay, we're going to go for a bit more. So stirring and stirring. I'm going to be stirring this for maybe 10 or 15 minutes on a nice kind of just under medium heat. So that's looking beautiful. But I really have been stirring this and stirring it and stirring it and keep going and going. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some KIBE, like that much. Maybe what's that, under a tablespoon. Now some people would add KIBE just at the end. I like to add it during and at the end. So we're going to add the same again a bit later. What we're going to do now is we're going to slowly start to add some water. Like that sort of amount. The word for water in Amharic is wuha, and a small amount, something small, is tinish. So tinish wuha. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go for another 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add the same amount of water, and I'm going to repeat that about 6 times. Keep stirring, and keep stirring. So I can't stress enough on how slowly and long you have to cook this for. And also, depending on the quality of your beef, you do want that, of course, nice and tender. So make sure your beef is cooked nicely before we go for the next step, which is adding our potatoes. Now, I'm pretty sure that my beef or Sega is great. So I've now got some potatoes. I've got quite a lot here, and I've cut them in a kind of nice long fashion. We're going to stir them in. You can see that beautiful colour grabbing the potatoes. And by the way, the word for potato in Amharic is Dinach. So what we're making here is Sega bedinach what meat with potatoes in a red gravy or sauce or stew, however you want to translate the word. What? Now we're going to add some more water, this time quite a bit. There might be 4 or 5 cups there. We're going to cook this until our potatoes are tender. Give it a stir every now and then. Okay, so off goes the heat. That is a beauty. It does take quite a while, doesn't it? But it's really worth it. You want that kind of separation of the oil on the top. The potatoes are cooked really nicely. The sega, or the meat, is super tender. Right, we're going to add some more KIBE. Like I say, some people just add it at the end. I like to add a little bit during and at the end. And then the finishing spice, MEKELESHA. We're just going to grab a little pinch or two, that's it. Like 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to give that a mix. That's ready to serve. Well done for sticking around for this one, but it is delicious. And there you have it, a fantastic, fantastic beef and potato stew from Ethiopia. I hope you enjoy that. Please take time to look at some videos. I'm going to post some videos now. They're going to pop up about nowish. I made a couple of documentaries about Ethiopian food, which I've tried to explain the wonders of this cuisine. So do check them out and read the text below, because I'm going to leave a little bit of information below about those herbs and spices that we saw earlier. Keep safe, keep well. I'm a Saganala.